Welcome to Seeing with Your Soul, a safe and sacred place to be vulnerable, to be transparent, to be authentic. I am your host, Tisha Michelle. From the deep pain and loss of my best friend Gloria, I realized she gave me the greatest gift ever, remembering my purpose in life, which is to help connect you to your authentic self, guide you to remember your purpose, and remind you that your current circumstance doesn't define who you are. Join me as we heal, align, and glow together. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Seeing with Your Soul. I'm your host, Tisha Michelle. So right now I am recording in a garden, in a park, in lovely Arizona. Oh my gosh, I feel so good. So I don't know if you will hear it or not, but I do hope that you will. It'll pick up on there. But I'm just sitting here. I can hear the birds chirping. I can hear some other noises. I'm not even really sure like what those noises are or like what it belongs to, but I do know that it's really soothing. So I'm just sitting here just relaxing and I'm like, I got to record a podcast, right? So you know how I roll, you know how I do. 3 things that I'm grateful for in this present moment. So in this present moment, I'm grateful for the sounds, all the sounds that are around me. It's very nurturing. So I'm also grateful for the ladies that are in my Embrace, Nurture, and Heal Your Inner Child course. And at the time of me recording this, class started last night. So there's just some beautiful souls in there who know that they deserve more and they're here for it. Point blank period. They're here for it. I'm also thankful for the time that I spent today with my cousin who came to visit. So she lives in LA and she drove up here and we went to a metaphysical store and then we went to eat and we just had really good conversation. And it's that conversation that you have that you just know is just so in alignment and spirit is talking to you, you know, working through people, and it was just good. It was good. So now it's your turn. So as long as you're not driving, got to put that disclaimer out there. Go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to ground ourselves and we're going to center ourselves. So go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Last time. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Great. So now in this present moment, what are you grateful for? You can say it in your head. You can say it out loud. As long as you're expressing it. What are you grateful for? Nice. All right. So recently my 9-year-old, right? My son SJ, he said to me, he was like, I don't even know how it came about, but he just popped up and he was like, why is that a bad word? Like, why are bad words bad words? They're just a word. So I looked at him and I was like, hey, I'm about to get ready for a session, but we're going to talk about this later. Me hopes that he forgets. And honestly, he did forget. He didn't bring it back up, but it was me avoiding and just doing a little diversion, even though I was about to start a session, but I had a whole 30 minutes before that session, right? But I didn't know how to answer him. So it kind of left me stuck. And I'm like, And see, my son is the type that once you start, explaining something to him, he's like looking and he's like, okay. He doesn't say, let's go deeper. But what he does say is implying, no, we need to go a little deeper because now you need to explain that. So I wasn't about to go down that whole rabbit hole or whatever you want to call it with him. So I just was like, skirt. No, I got a session. We'll talk about it later. But then in my class, the same thing came up. We started talking about stories and like the meaning behind it and how, we give it this particular meaning or someone else gives it. We got into talking about sayings. Like I brought up like kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And I'm like, why are we even saying that? And first of all, why are we killing birds? And let alone why are we using stones? Like just crazy, right? So, but the key word in all of that was meaning. Then after the class, my friend called me, right? So when she calls me, she starts telling me how she had a conversation with, I believe it was her sister. And she was like, I don't remember exactly how she said it, but it was like, everything means nothing. And it was a little debate and she was explaining about how, particular things actually mean nothing because it's like with people giving it a meaning. And I was like, that's funny that you said that. I was like, because this keeps popping up for me. I was like, so I guess I need to talk about this on a podcast. So I was saying to her how the different situations where the conversations and things were coming up, but it was all around the word meaning. So I was like, oh man, so we definitely have to talk about it. And when I say it, meaning what are we giving meaning to, right? So in 2018, this was when I was sleeping. I was in that in-between sleep stage, and I literally heard Spirit say to me, interview 25 people around the word authentic. I'm like, what? Okay, fine. I don't know. I'm just going to trust. I don't know what this is. I don't know where this is going, right? So I interview people. This is where it turned into when I started to produce my show. So the question that I asked everybody was, what does the word authentic mean to you? And I got all different types of definitions, right? So then I was like, okay, cool. So Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett, they have a Facebook group, right? So in there you can post questions that you want to ask people. So I asked that question as well. I said, when you hear the word authentic, what does it mean to you? And I got a lot of response, a pretty good amount of responses, but people were saying tacos, leather belts, handbags, keeping it real. Like somebody named a pair of jeans that I never heard of. It was just all these various meanings, right? I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So then in the course, now we're back into the course, I asked everybody, what does your inner child mean to you? So I had a lot of different responses, right? But even going back to the word authentic, the definitions that I was getting, people were saying, does that mean that some were right and some were wrong? No, that just meant that that's what it meant to them. So say, for instance, your partner, right? You or your partner. If your partner posts you on Instagram, does that mean that he loves you, right? They can say like, oh, he loves me. Oh, he really must love her, or she must really love him because you posted him on Instagram. Like, oh, okay, that's what that means. That's cool. Or, well, what if your significant other doesn't post you on social media? Does that mean that he's hiding you or she's hiding you? Does that mean that he doesn't love you? Does that mean that she doesn't love you? Like, what does that mean? Because one person can say, oh man, he must really love her, or she must really love him because it's all over social media. Another person can be like, they're doing too much, or, have you noticed if you look on his social media, he never talks about her. Like he never posts about her. He must not want people to know. But really in actuality, like he's like, I'm on social media for just fun and games. My personal life is my personal life. And I don't even know if my girlfriend or my wife wants me to be her picture to be all over social media, right? It means something different for everyone else. Or say like, if I, meaning Tisha Michelle, if I was to stop spreading, my message and doing my videos on social media, does that mean that that's no longer my message? Yeah. Some people could say like, oh, I guess she's over that spiritual thing she used to always talk about because now I don't see her talk about it at all. But in actuality, for me, what that means is that, you know what, that's not the vehicle, that's not the avenue for me no more because now I'm spreading my message on TV and I don't need to put it on social media. See? Or like I was looking, the Shade Room posted something, Christy Teigen and John Legend, right? So she had posted something about she was leaking his song and, she was being funny. But then John Legend posted something and he said, and don't quote me on it, just giving you the gist of it. But he says something like, oh, it's okay, that's free promo. So then his wife was like, no, bitch, it's not free. So someone in the comments was like, I don't care if it was a guy, I don't care if it's a joke or not. There's no way that my wife is going to call me a bitch. Okay, so his meaning behind that was like, if someone calls you a bitch, then that means that it's super disrespectful. You're out of pocket. You like, what the hell? You might even get slapped upside your head. But there's some people just like, oh, that's just how they talk. And they don't mean it. They just mean like, oh, I'm the shit, right? Because it's just the meaning, but it's the meaning that we give it. So what are you giving meaning to? Like really think about it in your life right now. What are you giving meaning to? Is it your meaning? Is it somebody else's meaning? Even if you think to the fact of like, I talked about this with people in the class as well as outside of the class when we talked about relationships, right? Why do you even want a relationship? What is the meaning behind a relationship, right? So when we're talking about this, people are listing all the things that, what is what it means. You're in a relationship if it's this, 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 and this. And then when you get to like the bottom of it, in actuality, this meaning that they're putting behind it is like, oh, it's because society says that we're now committed because we have a title. The meaning behind a title. And because we have this title, that means you can't see anybody else and I can't see anybody else because I'm your girlfriend and you're my boyfriend. And that's where that meaning is. But when you really break it down to a person in there, it's just like, well, what are you seeking? Well, I'm looking for someone that I can spend time with. Okay, check. Someone that I can have sex with. Okay, check. I can spend the night at their house. They can spend the night at my, check, check. Okay. Someone that may just occasionally give me flowers and stuff. Okay, check. That's great. Someone that I can just, I can also pamper. Okay, check, check. So then it's like, what's the problem, right? But then mainly it's females, and I'm not talking bad about females. I'm just speaking just from that perspective. Then it's like, okay, everything is great, but you haven't given me that title. So then it becomes a problem. So why is that? So everything that you were actually seeking and you wanted, you were receiving that, right? But now because we don't have this title that society says that you have to have the title, like you have to have this title, they have to claim you and you have to claim them. But why can't the meaning of claim mean we're intimate with each other, we pamper each other, we spend time together, we travel together, we fucking laugh together, we have an amazing time together? Why can't that mean that I claim you and you claim me, right? Because we can make the meaning of whatever it is that we want. So when I say look in your life, right, it's not just about relationships. That was just kind of like an easier one. What is the meaning behind success? Some people say that success is by your bank account and all the money that you have, right? So now you have this business that you started from ground up by yourself. Hashtag self-made, right? So you was grinding and you overcome so many things. And now but your business is bringing in like $2,000 a month. Just throwing that number out is what I seen. $2,000 a month, but you don't feel like your business is successful. Why? Because there's a group of people, or there's some like a part of society, right, that says that success means that you're making more than 6 figures a year. So now you're successful. But to you, you're like, yo, I did this shit, yo, and I did it by myself. It was hard, but I've been hustling. I got this idea, I executed, but you don't feel like your business is successful because it's not making a certain amount of money. But that's because someone else put that meaning of success in your head. So in your life, what are you giving meaning to? And is it like your true meaning? Or is this the meaning that's coming from somebody else or somewhere else? So we can take a little inventory. I'm always about going in, right? So let's go in, guys. Let's look at what's going on in our life right now. Where you feel like you're lacking, right? Or where you feel like you're struggling. Or where in your life where you feel like that you're not where you should be, right? Or where you would love to be, right? So look at it like, what's that meaning behind it? What does that mean? Does that mean that you're useless, you haven't done anything? Or versus saying like, well, I should be here. But what about if you look back into your life and you say, okay, a year ago I was in this place and now I'm here and I grew. But what does that mean? That means you're doing what you came here to do, which is evolve and grow, right? But it doesn't mean like you're a failure or you're behind, whatever the case is, right? So it's all about the meaning of everything, the meaning of a word, the meaning of a definition, the meaning of a title. Or like, what if everyone around you that, your squad or your people, like they all have kids and you don't have any kids? Somebody may look at that and be like, oh, that must mean that she can't have any kids. Someone else may look at that and say like, that must mean like she cannot stand kids and there's no way in hell that she will have kids. She don't like them. She probably don't even like her friends' kids. But for you, the actual meaning behind you not having any kids is that you love kids. You love your nieces and your nephews and your friends and your godchildren, your godchildren, but that children is not a part of your journey, and that's okay. So I'm hoping you guys are getting what I'm saying. Every single person, individually, group, or whatever, is gonna have a different meaning behind something. So when people were telling me what they felt like their inner child meant, they were all right because that's what it meant to them, right? So then when it comes to the word authentic, like I said, someone was talking about jeans, somebody was talking about tacos, somebody was then saying keeping it real. But did that mean that some people were right and some people were wrong? No. That's what it meant to them, and that's how they operate, right? So when we go back to speaking our truth and living our truth and owning our truth, like what do things mean to you? And that's what it is. What does it mean to you? And this also goes back to the questioning everything. Questioning everything. So when we go back to the relationship, so like what does a relationship actually mean to me? What does it mean to me? So if I go and date a bunch of males, I don't even know why I said like a bunch of males. If I'm out there dating a bunch of people, and whether people know I'm intimate with them or not, people are going to be like, oh, she gets around. She's a slut. But then when a guy does that, they're like, oh, he's the shit, right? They put that meaning like, oh, he's the shit. Oh, he's a player. He probably got or somebody can say he got mommy issues. This is why he has so many different women. Or then if it's the females and it's like, oh, she has daddy issues. But in actuality, for you or even a group of people, it's like, I don't want to commit to one person because why? Why would I commit to just one person? Like, I like to be free. I'm very confident in myself. I don't have daddy issues, or if it's a guy, I don't have mommy issues, but I don't want to be tied down because you know what? To me, and I'm not saying this is me, but to me, a relationship means you are now tied down. A relationship means that I feel like I own you and you feel like you own me. And now I have to ask you permission for this and you have to ask me permission for this, right? That could be what a relationship means to me. And that's my definition. And I don't want any parts of that because I seek to be free. That doesn't mean that I'm a slut, I'm out there or anything, but that might mean that to you, but not to me. So again, we give meaning to words and value. We give meaning to titles. We give meaning to situations. But I think that it's super important that whatever you're giving a meaning to, that's what it means to you, not anybody else. To you. Point blank, period. So think about it, guys. What are some of these things I talked about mean to you? What's popping up in your head? What's coming up in your head and coming to the surface? Think about that. Because sometimes we're kind of like shackling ourselves and, putting these handcuffs and putting this cage around ourselves because we feel like this particular way, because this is what this means, because I'm not here or there, or I'm doing this or doing that. But it's not even actually the meaning that we gave it. We let somebody else give that meaning to it. We got to go within, guys, and we got to really get to the core of who the hell we are. Shed these limiting beliefs, get rid of these crazy ass rigid thoughts. These, what is it that society gives? Like these certain like statuses and shit that makes you X, Y, and Z. And all that stuff is false if it doesn't feel true to you. So yeah, guys, what are we giving meaning to? And you know what? I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself as well. Own my own little things, and I'm human as well, and my ego will pop up and I'll start to feel like I don't know, gosh, because this means this, and if I do this and that's gonna mean that, and then I have to catch myself and say, wait, is that shit true to me? Is it true to me? What does that actually really mean? And then sometimes I say, yo, it could mean whatever the hell I want it to mean, and that's what it is, period. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys, because before I started recording, I was sitting out here for about a good hour being very productive. And when I say productive, I was meditating, I was listening, I was getting clarity. Whew. And now it's time for me to take some action. So as always, thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. Whew. If something that I said resonated with you and you want to go a little bit deeper, definitely go visit my website, healaronicglow.com. You can schedule a session there. Right now, I'm only taking sessions on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So you can definitely go snag a spot. Also, if you haven't already, please leave me a review. And you know what? I'm working through this. This is something that I have a story attached to where I don't like to ask people for anything. So I'm working on that, right? So when I see people posting all of their stuff and saying, go like this or go check this out, I'm just be like, hell yeah. And I'll be so excited because I'm like, that's so courageous and badass that you're putting yourself out there, knowing that nobody might not go and subscribe. Nobody might not go and check your video out or whatever like the case is, right? So I think that's super badass about people, putting themselves out there. So I'm a work in progress with, that reaching out and asking people for help. So now I am reaching out to you guys. If you have not done so far, please leave me a review in iTunes. It definitely helps me get noticed, which means that my podcast starts to pop up in other people. So that means other people can get the message and other people can vibe and all that good stuff. So I don't even know how to direct you guys to tell you to do it because I do know it is sometimes a little complicated to what you're on, if I don't know the Spotify, the Google, and all of that stuff. But I do know iTunes. So if you can go on there and leave me a review, I would greatly appreciate it. So until next time, bye guys. Thanks for tuning in to #certified. If anything resonated with you, I would love to continue the conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at @itistisha. And if you want to be a part of the #certified tribe, you can join my Facebook group by going to the search tab and putting in #certified. My website is conversationswithtisha.com. As always, have a great one on purpose. Love you.